Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Menino and Nariman Hamden, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hi, everybody. This is Michael Menino. Welcome to Driven Unscripted Success podcast. Today on the podcast, we're interviewing professionals who share their experience with you, the audience, and how they got to where they're at today. And zooming from the beautiful island of Naples, Florida, Ricardo Lory. He's the only person I know in Florida that's been in Florida his whole life, 26 years.
Yeah.
He's been in the restaurant business for 14 years. And he's traveled 17 countries to look for different foods around the world. Hey, listen, sir, thank you very much for coming. I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for having me.
Hey, listen, this is awesome. We got hooked on a couple food items, but I wanted to start this up because I didn't want to lose all the good information we had. Could you do me a quick favor, give everybody a rundown about yourself, how you got to where you're at today?
Yeah. So long story short, my name is Ricardo Lory. I'm a certified personal chef, certified culinarian. I started out in Naples, Florida, working at my parents' restaurant. I want to say about 7 to 8 years ago. During that time frame, I saw I wanted more, so I went to culinary school. I'm a graduate of Kaiser University in Tallahassee, and I stayed in Tallahassee for about, I want to say 2 years, and then I got my first job as an externship to Walt Disney World. So I started working at Walt Disney World while I was living there. So they had a program where you could live there and you could work there at the same time. So I did that, and that program literally, I thank God I did that program, because that program changed my life and changed my thinking. Because in that program, in the apartments, we lived with people from around the world, because Disney also has other programs called, like, for example, the cultural representative program. So there are people that get put at places like Epcot, and all they do is represent their country. So they come from their country to the United States on a visa just to represent their country. So in the apartments, we're living with people from around the world. So downstairs, I got people from the UK. Upstairs, you got people from Peru. Across the way, like, for example, like Animal Kingdom, everybody was from Africa. Like, they were really from Africa. So you got all these different countries in Africa. And, when I believe my roommates were 3 Italians that were really from Italy.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
that. So my roommates were 3 Italians from Italy. And, people, we would sit at tables and they would just talk about their cultures, like, oh, you got to come to Spain, man. We got this going on here, this and that. And I'm like, what? Like, it was crazy to me. And, what was funny was during at Disney, people used to do this little hack where they would, like, on a 3-day weekend, they would use 2 of their days off, and they would have a 5-day weekend. And the foreigners would take trips to, like, the Hollywood sign, Statue of Liberty. And keep in mind, I've never been on a plane before. So I'm like, these people just came here and they're going on planes, and I've never been on a plane. I've never went anywhere. And you're telling me that they're going to the Hollywood sign. I've never even seen the Hollywood sign. You know what I mean? So it just got me thinking, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should go to other countries. So I started.
How old were you at this time?
I was 19. Yeah. So I took my first trip. I went to Puerto Rico. And this is while I was still working at Disney. So I went to Puerto Rico. Nobody wanted to go. I asked all my friends if they wanted to go. Everybody had to work. So I was like, you know what? Like, I gotta go by myself. Like, I ain't got no choice. So I went by myself, and, like, it changed my life, because when I got there, like, I was staying in an Airbnb. I didn't have any, like, I didn't know where the tourist places were. I just had my phone and I would just walk. I would just go walk and I just go to places. And, like, I feel like Disney holds a lot of weight in the name. That's why we did our externship there. And with that externship, everywhere you go, when you say you work for Disney, people are like, oh, you work for Disney? Oh, you must know what you're doing. So I would walk into some of these restaurants and I'd just be like, yeah, I used to work for Disney. And they would let you, like, some of these chefs would let me in the back of the restaurant and I just be with them and they just show me.
Really?
Yeah. They would just show me what they're doing. And I'd be like, it was crazy to me. And I kept doing that around the city. Besides that, I was zip lining, going on ATV tours all by myself, just meeting random people, and, like, it's the most fun I ever had. It was one restaurant that I went to. Um, I believe that it was owned by, and the owner was, his name was Chef George. And the restaurant, I was walking down San Juan, and it was it was in the middle of nowhere. Like it was in the middle of nowhere. It was a gastronomy restaurant. I'm talking about, like, it was in a bad area, like in the middle of nowhere. So I'm like, what is this restaurant doing here? So I go in, and they're doing gastronomy. They're doing like charred octopus and like celery foam and like fried yuca chips on the side. And like I'm just like, this is crazy. So I meet the chef. The chef's talking to me. He lets me in the back. He lets me see the line. They have the smallest line. I'm talking about, like, it's like this big. You got three people behind the line using tweezers, putting putting whatever they're putting on the food, and you got one guy in the corner, and he's the dishwasher. And this is the craziest thing. The back wall was gone because they just had a hurricane. So the whole back wall is missing, and they have a tarp over the back wall. And I'm like, you got three people right here, and you got one person doing the dishes. Usually in the kitchen, like Disney, like, we do batch cooking. So we cook in warehouses. So you got 50, 60 people in the same warehouse, and we're just cooking, like it can be 100 deep. I used to work in festivals as well in Epcot. So we used to do food and wine festival. We used to do all these different festivals. You got over 500 employees at a time, so we're using huge equipment. Just to fry chips, you're using huge, massive kettles that are like, that could take, 100 gallons. And the thing is, what I learned from that chef is, uh, while he was showing me his line, I was so inspired because he was telling me, like, listen, we don't have a big kitchen. You don't need no big kitchen to learn how to cook. You just need heart. And they're showing me their past. They're showing me how they're putting out the plates and everything else like that. The fish that was on the menu that day, he went out to go catch it from, like, with on his boat, and he brought it in. That's how, like, fresh they were cooking. And I'm just like, you don't really need all the high end this and this and that. You just need love for the food. After that trip, it gave me like a bug, and I was like, okay, I gotta see more. Like I gotta keep going with this. So I kept traveling. After that, I went to Costa Rica by myself. Great experience. I'm really like I kind of stopped. I didn't want to go to any tourist places. I'm like going to the locals and telling me, like, show me where to go. So I used to use Airbnb. Um, they used to have tours on Airbnb, and they would you could do food tours, and you could do the tours of the city. So I would take like a 7 hour tour on Costa Rica downtown, and just learn about, like, the history, what's behind it, what the food is behind it. And then I would take I like how they have the locals that give the courses for the food, because you're at some lady's random house, and she's teaching you about Costa Rican cooking, grandma, and you're just like, you're eating from there. And like, I went to the rainforest, learned about all the different plants in the rainforest. Being there, like, it's just like, coffee is such a big thing in Costa Rica, and it's like all these little things that I take with me, I can bring it with me back to my cooking. So I went to a couple countries after that, and then my externship.
What were the other countries?
So I went to Colombia,
Hmm.
and then I went to Nicaragua after that.
Hmm.
And during that time frame, it was just a little bit harder to continue doing that because you still have a job at the end of the day. So I was from Disney. It was pretty funny because I was working in Epcot in the German pavilion. So I was working in a German restaurant where everybody's German. So all my friends are German. All the servers, bartenders, everybody's German. So being there, they made me want to go to Germany. That's one of my top. I'll bring later, but. Uh, Doing that, I moved. I believe they moved me to a signature restaurant, which is like their fine dining restaurants. I started working at a restaurant called Coral Reef after that, and that's where my externship actually ended. They give you the option if you want to go full time, or if you would like to stay. I'm sorry, if you want to go full time, or if you just want to finish your externship and that's it. I decided not to continue it, just because it's just there was a lot of people. They have really good benefits, and there was a lot of people there that were just like, they were just like there for a long time, like they were there for, like, I remember, I think it was one guy that kind of put me over the edge. He started when Epcot was built. I don't know the time frame, maybe it was like 1970 something, but he said he started as a door greeter. And when they asked him, would you like to do culinary, he was like, what is that? And he's like 71 now. So we're on the same line, and he's 71. And I was just like, I don't know if that if I want to.
I don't want that for me.
Yeah, and they kept asking me during my externship, you just want to transition now, and I'm like, nah, I don't think so. So I ended up thinking about what I'm gonna do next. So I moved to Hawaii, and I worked on a cruise ship, and that was like that was crazy because you're in the middle of nowhere. Like you're in Hawaii, but we're on the seas, like not 24/7. I want to say like 70% of the time we're on the seas. So
Yeah,
I was working on Norwegian Cruise Line Pride of America, and it was a great experience seeing Hawaii, seeing the Hawaiian people. There's a lot of other nationalities like from the Oceanias that come to Hawaii. A lot of people from the Philippines.
a lot of Asians. Yeah,
Yeah, a lot, because on the map it's kind of like on the other side. So they're just like bloop. Let me just come down to
right,
Hawaii. So
right.
it has a large Asian um
Footprint.
footprint and influence. So working in Hawaii was it was nice. It taught me a lot about like resilience because like people were quitting left and right. Like people quit every day. Like you could be with somebody next to you.
It's a lot though, aren't your shifts are like 18 hours or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. So our shifts are not 18 hours. I want to say our shifts are like 12, 13 hours, but they'll let you work as much as you want. And I was the type of person where I was like, yeah, 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 yeah. I was like, yeah, give me work, give me work. Even at Disney, I was like, yeah, give me work. Because I didn't have anything obligated. I had no family and none of this. So I was like, oh, let me go ahead and rack up the money. So
Right,
I used to work the night shift for breakfast. So I used to work, they had me work 10 o'clock at night to about 10 o'clock at night to about 2 o'clock the next day. So 10 o'clock at night to 2 o'clock the next day. So that was my shift. But I used to work till like 4 or 5. And then I used to sleep for
right.
2 hours and then I come back again at like 10 o'clock at night. And everything's provided, like, your food, your housing, all this and that. That's why I was trying to get as much money as possible because uh as long as you don't leave the boat, then you're good to stack up some money and to save. The thing with that though is that like I kind of didn't know what was going on the mainland. That's what we called it. We called it the mainland. So Florida would be the mainland. I didn't know what was going on because we didn't have a lot of signal at most of the time. So um, I didn't even know at the time when like the whole presidency and everything and all that was going. I didn't know about any of that. So even roadways, we're not used to seeing the roads. So when I got back to Florida, I was like just being in the airport, I was like, oh my God, I was seeing so many people because there's not that many people on the
Well, on
boat.
the boat, there's got to be a ton.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, but you see the same people every day that
Yeah,
you don't see like us with the guests, like we love the guests, but us with the guests, it's like kind of like pass and go because some stay for 3 days,
right, right,
some stay
right,
for
right,
7 days.
right,
So it's kind of like
right.
pass and go. Plus, we're not allowed to be where the guests are unless you're like if I'm serving in the kitchen and I'm on the dining room floor or anything like that, that's fine. But we're not allowed to be in any areas where guests are allowed to be, which is going to be their walkways, this and that. Because the thing is, only like housekeeping is allowed to be where guests are during where the rooms
Right, right,
are.
right, right, right.
Because we live on the bottom of the boat, like we live underneath.
You
So
got common areas, right? And the rooms are probably pretty small too, right?
oh my. The room was like a box, right? And it was like three of us. It was either three or four of us to a room. I believe it was three. Three bunk beds to a room, right? We had the smallest shower. I'm talking about like you take like a public like a bathroom, like an office bathroom and make it smaller, like half of that. That the shower and the bathroom was in that. And like it was just like it was so cramped and stuff would fall down when the boat would move. So you got stuff like falling down left and right. But overall, I met a lot of great friends on that journey, and I'll never forget that. I was planning on coming back, actually. I was planning on coming back to the boat, but I decided because they give you kind of, I think they believe they give you 8 months on and 2 months off. So I took my 2 months to go live in Europe. So I went
Where'd you go in Europe?
I went to Paris. I went to Germany. I went to Belgium. I went to Italy. I went to Spain. Yeah, and I kind of made like a route. Oh, and Netherlands. I went to Netherlands too. I kind of made like a route from Paris, France, and I kind of went all the way to Italy, and then I flew right back to Paris, France, and I stayed there for a little bit, and it was so nice seeing every country. There's a large population of backpack travelers, just like that's what they call them, backpack travelers. So I would
Hmm.
see other random people that be like, "Oh, you're not from here? I'm not from here. Well, let's go find a restaurant." You make friends like that too, you know. Um,
Yep.
to travel cheaper, I would stay in hostels. Hostels, you would think are like you would think they're like they're kind of like cheaper.
Rundown shacks.
Yeah, crazy hostels. I'm talking about like they used to have like big game rooms and like they some like the hostels in Netherlands. Netherlands is so clean. Like Netherlands
Yeah.
is so clean. You have to pay to use the bathroom.
Germany too.
Yeah, you have to pay to use the bathroom, like 25 cents to use the bathroom because they don't want you messing up the bathroom. So it's kind of like, it made me think about like how America is like in terms of our environment to Europe because on TV they're like save the environment, the planet, this and that. I didn't understand none of that until I went to like Netherlands and I've never seen trash on the floor, So I'm just like, oh, this is crazy. So I traveled for a little bit. I did that, and then it was when I was in Italy, and that's when Trump he came on the TV when he was in office at the time, and this was during COVID. Oh my, COVID started in China, but it came to Europe first before the States.
Italy got
Yeah,
decimated.
yeah, when I was in Europe, I'm talking about you had over 500 people from China in the same airport, all just came from China, and we stand in this airport. I was so scared because like they all had masks on, and that was before like the whole mask thing was like a thing. So nobody knew what COVID was. So I'm in Italy, and then I see like public service announcement, like every TV shut down, whatever anybody had on it was shut down. It was like if you are in a foreign country right now and you do not come home, we're going to be closing down the borders at this time. I was like, I was like, you know what? I can't stay here. So took the flight from
Good
Italy.
thing you got out because you would have stayed a couple extra
Yeah,
days. You would have been
yeah,
locked down.
yeah.
Well, bummer you would have been in Italy. Locked down in Italy is awesome.
Yeah, it was, yeah, and then like it's a paradise, but you don't want to be you don't want to be stuck in a foreign country. So I flew back from Italy to Paris, France, to JFK, to Fort Myers, and that's when I came back home. And originally I was just supposed to see my parents for about a couple of days, like 3 or 4 days, and that's when I got a call. So I was ready to go back to the
The
ship.
boat.
Yeah, and I got a call, and they basically told us that like the whole cruise ship industry is down. Everybody lost their job. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, I just lost my job. What do I do? This is like that's all I know. So um, I kind of was looking for jobs in Naples. Actually, I only applied to one place. I only applied to one place. I told him this exact same story, and it was like a country club. And he kind of looked at me like, he's like, what? Like, he's like, this is the craziest story, And then and he was like, we'll let you know if you got the job or not. I'm literally walking out the parking lot, and then he calls my phone. And I'm looking at my phone, and I'm like, I can see his caller ID, and I'm looking through the window, and he's like, do you want the job? If you want it, we'll give it to you. And I was like, what? I was like, I just applied. Um, I go home and I tell my friend, and when I told my friend, he was like, man, I think you should try to start your own thing or do your own thing. And I was like, bro, I'm not, the entrepreneurship, the
That
whole
was probably yeah.
yeah.
It's tough.
The whole entrepreneurship that wasn't a thing in 20 that entrepreneurs were built in 2020, that wasn't a whole thing of doing entrepreneurship. It wasn't like as glorified as it now, be your own boss, all that and that. And
Dude, I've been an entrepreneur for 38 years.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely it's rough, the ups and
It's
downs.
rough. It's rough.
You gotta you
Not
got
for the meek of heart.
you gotta push. You gotta have faith,
Yeah,
number one,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta push.
I was in building and I would tell people, I go, you can't, people are like, oh, there's, in '08, there's nothing to do, and
Oh,
people would say, yeah, this is hard. I go, yeah, I think it's impossible. If you don't believe in God, I think being a contractor is impossible.
yeah,
And you gotta, your next meal, you don't know where it's coming from.
crazy, crazy.
And uh, a food truck and a
Yeah,
service
yeah,
today.
so the way I got the food truck was so my friend he told me I should open up my own thing, and basically I made a batch of brownies for our other friend who was his birthday, and it was one menu that we have on our menu to this day. It's called a s'mores crusted triple chocolate brownie. So
Ooh, it sounds dirty.
I made that. Oh, it's so fast. So
That sounds dirty. That sounds bad.
I made that. I took a picture of it and then I posted it on an app called Snapchat. And one person went, "Are you selling that?" And I said, Yeah, yeah." And he bought it from me. And then he posted it. And somebody else came to me and they said, "Hey, my friend just bought that. You selling that?" I said, Yeah. So then,
You became an
my mom.
entrepreneur without meaning to.
I go to my mom. I show her like 38 bucks. I'm like, "Oh, look, 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 look! I made all this off brownies, 38 bucks." And
Yeah, you got no idea.
and then one day somebody was like, "You sell food?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." So then I convinced my dad. My dad, he's working a full-time job. I convinced my dad to open up a restaurant with me in our garage. So, you know, he's like, "Let's do it." My mom is like, "What are you guys doing? Like,
Yeah,
you finna follow the American dream and open up a restaurant in
yeah,
the
yeah,
garage?"
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We get an oven. We get a stovetop. We get a refrigerator. I made my first menu. It was like chicken wings and all this and that. Fast forward, we got a little bit of traction. We get a couple people. My mom still doesn't believe in this. It was when, do you remember when Popeyes and Chick-fil-A they had that chicken sandwich debate, like who had the best chicken sandwich?
They both did.
They had, yeah, they had a chicken sandwich, and it was like a huge debate when it first came out. And that's when I dropped a chicken sandwich called the Global Famous Chicken Sandwich that we still serve to this day. That chicken sandwich changed my life because I posted on social media. It went viral overnight, and you had people left and right asking about this chicken sandwich, and it was to the point where fast forward, my mom, she was kind of like starting to see like the traction that we had, and it was one day when I used to redo things that other companies were doing, like Ale House. They used to have this mountain zinger melt, so they have like this mountain of cheese and fries and this and that. When I posted that, I remember it was about 2 p.m. and our house, it had a balcony, and we had like 30 cars in the driveway. And I brought my mom to the balcony and I was like, "Look." She was like, "What?" She was like, "Where all these people come from?" And I'm like,
The food, the food.
you
They
know,
came from
so
the food.
so we get a steady traction going. We're getting, me and my dad are getting too busy, so we got to hire our first employee. It's my aunt. She comes and starts helping us. We sending these cars back. I used to work with my dad. We used to work 11 a.m. to 3 o'clock in the morning every day. We did it for like 365 days, 11 a.m. to 3 o'clock in the morning. Because you got to remember, during COVID, nothing was open. Nothing was open. We were the
Oh,
only
but you
people.
capitalize. You capitalize on
We
COVID.
were the only people. I'm talking about like no restaurants were I'm talking about when
No,
everybody was
no,
closed.
no. Everybody was shut down.
We
You were
were the
open.
only people,
I'm
and I
surprised the
capitalized
cops
on it.
didn't come.
They no, you know what happened? You know what happened? They did come, and shout
They
out to
got the chicken sandwich and left.
shout out to my landlords. My landlords were like they asked the landlords, like, "Do you guys approve of this?" They're like, "Yeah, we approve of it. Like, he's not doing nothing bad. Like, let him sell the food. He's just selling food. Like, let him sell the food." They're like, "Okay, it's fine. It's fine."
As long,
So
really, they let you do it. Okay, I'm
yeah.
surprised.
So
I'm surprised the health department didn't come over, but they weren't open, right?
yeah, they weren't open. Nobody was open. So like today, I would not recommend doing any of this. Anybody watching, I would not recommend doing any of
Right,
this. But
right.
back then, you had to do what you had to do, and around that time, things kept getting more popular because everything was closed. People were stuck at home, so people are looking on their Snapchat, looking on their Instagram. They keep seeing me popping up on other people's feeds because I used to have somebody else post it. They see it, they want to come, post it, see it, they want to come. We used to have a line. We had a long driveway. We used to have a line of cars. I'm talking about like 20 cars, long line. And I'd be the only person serving the food. I'd take the orders. I'd serve the food. I'd take the payment. I'd have them in the back making the food. I'd go give the order. So I was the only person. And these people, like to this day, like I love my city because people that their order would be like $20, they give me 100. People that their orders would be like $15, they give me 70. And like I'm like, bro, like you don't have to, like I would never want to take it, but they just
Yeah, but you were doing something nobody else was doing. You were adding value to the society. No, I understand that wholeheartedly.
yeah.
You're
And
doing something.
and we just, and like you have people coming. I'm talking about you got people coming 20 days in a row, like coming, getting food, getting food, getting food. And it was so crazy to me. And like I remember that, me and my family, we're just like, yo, we can't keep doing this. Like, for the size of the people that are coming, like, you serving a couple chicken sandwiches, okay. But, our first month we did like 800 chicken sandwiches. So like
800 chicken sandwiches.
800 chicken sandwiches, 800
Your
chicken sandwiches
first month.
out the house, out the house.
What was the biggest amount you had in a month?
Um, a month, I don't know. It's probably like five figures. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This was an
Little.
automatic instant
Yeah. But but
business.
but it wasn't from like I didn't have a lot of like business experience. It's just straight from the food, because like the people,
Mhm.
it's from the love of the people, because people really weren't coming for the food. They're just coming just to support. Like people were just coming just to like just to be part of it.
Mhm.
And this is near the I want to say it's near like the Golden Gate area of Naples. So like a lot of these people aren't really getting recognized as they should be, because you have Fifth Avenue, you have downtown Naples, this and that. This wasn't on that side. That side, if you're doing something like this, it's not seen the same way. But when you're doing it on the other side of Naples, these people are showing like a lot of respect to me, and and just they just love it. And me and my family, we were like, yo, we can't be having 30 cars a day. So we got to get something. So we go and we buy our food truck. And like it was the biggest thing ever, because the people, like people would come and still buy food, and we give them a tour of the food truck. Because I felt like I didn't buy the food truck. I felt like the people bought the food truck. So I would show them what they bought. I would show them their investment with the food truck. I'm showing them,
Right.
look, this is what came with what you guys did for me. This is look,
This is the result of what you guys did, not what I
exactly.
did.
And people were so excited. And I remember I didn't understand the magnitude of what was going on until we had our grand opening. Our grand opening, we didn't even have a cash register. It was me and my friend Hayden. Shout out to Hayden. It was me and my friend Hayden. His dad owns a restaurant in downtown Naples. It's called the Boathouse. They're like family to me. They're like they helped me out. His dad helped me
So
out
much.
in business sense than anybody has ever helped me out, and I owe so much to their family. Um, and
Good
like
for you realizing that.
yeah, and like he was helping me, and we didn't have a cash register, so the food was still being made at the house, and like the food truck, you make the food and then you bring it on the truck. So we opened the doors. We said we want to open up at 11. We have a line down the street, and I'm like,
Nice.
we have no food, we have no cash register, and we have a line down the street. And I'm like, I'm freaking out in the truck, and Hayden's like, bro, we gotta open the door, bro. Like, we gotta say something. I'm like, bro, there's so many people. Like, what are we gonna do? We open the door, the food comes, and then we start sending it out. And then the fire department comes because the cars were so long, they were blocking the intersection, they were blocking traffic, and cars couldn't get through. They literally were just like, because we were parked on a large lawn, and they were blocking the intersection. And the fire department's like, who is blocking, who's doing all this traffic? So they came to our truck, and they're like, listen, you got to shut this down. Like, we can't have this. You have too many cars here. Like, this is a fire hazard. And my pastor at the time, God bless his soul, he passed away. He told the fire department, he told the sheriff's office, listen, they're just kids. They're just selling the food, man. They're just trying to do something good for the community. Just let them sell. They let us sell. It got crazier. More cars kept coming, and the police officers came again. They're like, listen, like this is not okay. Like we can't, like, it was on Santa Barbara Boulevard, and it just, the traffic couldn't get through. And because the cars lined up in a long line. And we helped them move all the cars on the lawn. It still wasn't working, but they saw we had a vision, so they just kept letting us go. We had people waiting 3 hours for a chicken sandwich. Like I was
Wow, that's dedication.
I was telling people, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. They're like, no, like they're happy. They're like, no, no, I'm here to support you. Like we don't care about no 3 hours. I'm like, bro, like, you literally waited 3 hours for a chicken
First
sandwich,
chicken
and,
sandwich,
and you're
right?
happy,
That's
and,
crazy.
and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
happy right now. Like,
Well, that's a good area to be in, right? You're in the area of Naples where the people are more community than anything else.
yeah.
And
So
that's why it exploded, because people are more community than anything else.
yeah, so fast forward, long story short, I get my second food truck. We're doing really good with the first one, so we get a second one. That was really nice. And then at the same time that I had the second one, it was like, okay, like we still don't have a kitchen. Like we need a kitchen to be making all.
Right. Yeah. You need a food prep kitchen. Yep.
Um, Long story short, I met I met a man named Bob Schultz. He's an amazing man, changed my life, literally changed my life for forever. He was the previous owner of Creative Catering Naples. And basically, the way I met Bob is on the side, I used to do vending machines. So I used to do vending machines. I got into it. I learned about it. And then I went to go get my first vending machine. And long story short, I'm sorry, it was in a tire shop and it was posted on Facebook Marketplace for $500. And I knew it was like a $3,000 machine. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go get that. So I give the guy the $500 and because it was sitting and it was outside near the dumpster. And I was like, this is a brand new machine outside near the dumpster. Turns out the tire manager wanted it out and it was Bob Schultz's machine. So uh I have the machine at my house and he calls me on the phone. He says, I'm like, hello? He's like, I heard you got my machine. And I'm like, yeah, I got it. Cause I wasn't gonna lie to the man. I got the man's machine. And then I'm like, I lost my money because the guy, he was trying to pull a trick. They put out his machine, but he didn't get time to get it. So he put it on Facebook Marketplace. That's only the machine. The sheriff's office was on the other line and they were like, listen, since you didn't lie about anything about it, we're gonna help you get your money back. They helped me get my money back, and then I give him the machine back. Fast forward 2 months down the road, calls me on the phone, says, listen, I'm selling my machines, would you like to buy them? I'm like, listen, after all that, I'm out the game, man. I'm not with none of that. Calls me 3 weeks later again. He's like, listen, I'm selling my business. Do you want to buy it? And I'm like, "Man, I told you, Bob, I'm out the game with the machines. I don't need them." And he's like, no, my catering business. And I was like, what do you mean? He says, I have a full service kitchen and a whole catering company with all the
Oh,
equipment.
wow.
He says, I have a full service catering company with with the kitchen and all the equipment. I said, where? He's like, off of Y'all Street. I said, okay. Me and my parents went there within the next 2 hours. Within the next 8 hours, we had a deal already signed, paid cash, and I had access to 3 storage units filled with supplies. He gave me the kitchen, the website, and the name, and everything included with it. So, and he told my parents when we were having the meeting, he said, I didn't sell this to you guys. I sold it to him because that day he didn't lie to me. I know he's a good person. And
There you go.
he kind of gave me some onboard training with a lot of the stuff. And I have a full service kitchen now, walk-in
Hmm.
cooler,
Hmm.
all the catering equipment, everything I can make an event. We had tents and stuff. I can make an event for 500 people, 100 people. And that right there was a big pivotal point because now we have a full kitchen that can pump out for both of the trucks, right? So with that being said, it was when I think the best thing that he gave me was that the book of business because of the website. I kept getting inquiries calling in. So they're calling the phone, and these are people that live in Port Royal, downtown Naples, and they're calling the phone and uh, uh, they're saying, "Hello, Bob. You had did my children's graduation back in 2013. Could you do another one?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Yep.
yeah." So I used to
Not
call
a problem.
Bob. I used to call Bob to ask him like, "Bob, how do I do this? Bob, how do I do this? Bob, what do you what do you think about this?" And he used to coach me on like the different things to do. And so I used to, and then he used to send me all his clientele as well, that his previous clientele that like, because he wasn't answering his phone. So they're like, he's like, call this guy, call this guy, call this guy. So like, for example, like I had a client and they were like, Bob used to make really good chicken. You sure you can make chicken like Bob? Bob used to make really good chicken. I make chicken for
Take
them.
a shot at it.
I make chicken for them. They're like, I don't know where Bob went, but you're like, this is crazy. They're like, where did you come from? So I'm on the scene to a lot of these large mansions and and houses and companies, and they're all calling me, and I don't believe I would have ever got a chance if I didn't own that catering company. And
You
it
you
kind
would have had a chance. It would just take longer. When you
yeah,
when
it
you
would
do a good job, you can't fail. And when
yeah,
you make kitchen that everybody, any food that anybody loves, it's hard to fail.
you
So
know,
you would have got there, but it would have taken longer. You just expedited your business.
Yes, sir. And fast forward, here's where I am now with the business. And, we're doing great. This is going to be my third season doing the catering company. I bought the rights to my name for Chef Global. So they call me Chef Global. And I bought the trademark to that. So I own everything within that part of the company. And, the food trucks now, I'm kind of slowing down on the food trucks because the market
The
has become,
catering.
yeah, catering is the profit margin is way higher, but the saturation of the food truck game. When I came in the food truck game in 2020, there wasn't a lot of food trucks out there. Now you got on every corner.
Yeah, all different nations, Greek, Italian, pizza, all different kinds.
And it's like, listen, it was a good part of my life. I loved it. It was, it was a big high point, but we need to move on.
Right.
We won a lot of awards. I don't know if you know what the Gulf Shore Life Award is. There's an award. It's for they have like a best of in the city of awards, and we've won the best of food truck for the last 4 years running.
Congratulations.
So and it's voted by the people. So to have the same people keep voting you best, it's like I can't even, like, for me, like, customer service is so big because like they literally made my business. I didn't really do anything, like I'm just serving them, and this is what they gave me. So I owe everything to the people. I could say, it's the hustle, this and that. Some people might see that. For me, I see the people. That's where I owe all this too. So that's what keeps me grounded.
Good point.
That's what keeps me in the same place, and like my mom always says, like, I remember when we first got the first food truck, I was like, oh, we're gonna be rich. Oh, we this and that. My mom was like, what are you talking about? We just got started. Like, this is you think we got anything going on now? You gotta think about it. Like, we just got started. And like, they used to always humble me and like making sure I know, like, you got to put in more work, because it's not just gonna happen like, oh, I got the thing now and it's not gonna work itself.
You still got to put in the work.
Yeah,
you still have to put in the work. You got. I'm not going to say lucky. You got blessed to inherit a business or buy a business, basically. And a lot of people have the opportunity to buy businesses now. There's a lot. The Gen X is getting out of the businesses. So I would highly advise people, if you want to start a business, don't start a business, buy a business.
Yeah, buy a business.
Because you probably got it for a great deal, right? You got it for a great deal.
Yeah, great deal.
And then you buy the books, you buy all the previous clients and customers and all that. Oh, it is amazing what you can do. And you can buy it for pennies on the dollars. You were blessed to be able to have the money to pay for it up front. Some people are, but if you wanted to start a business, start looking into buying businesses. And there's brokers for buying businesses. Yeah. And we sold one of our businesses, and we had a broker do it, and it was great. And you can buy a business. Trust me, it's one of the best things you could possibly do. And if you're good at anything like what you are, it really does make it 10 times easier. Hey, listen, I could talk to you for 20 more minutes, but we're coming to the end of the show.
Yes, sir.
Wrapping up, what do you got planned for the next 6 months?
So plan for the next 6 months. So we're kind of taking a step back, and we're really going full throttle with the catering company, putting systems into place. Really, I feel like the last 3 seasons were more of a exposure and more learning. And now we're ready to go. We're not worried about 100 people events, 300 people events. We can do it all. We have a lot of new players on the team, and we're just ready to get
rock and roll. Mm-hmm. Well, let's segue into the great part. So listen, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
So if anybody wants to get in touch with me, my phone number is 239-351-9867. They can also reach us at info@creativecateringnaples.com. For our food truck pages, it's going to be info@chefgk.com. And we're just a phone call away.
Awesome, man. If you guys want to get good food in the Naples area, please let Ricardo know, man. He's got a great story. He's got a love for food.
And
that's the key.
And also, we're open on DoorDash and Uber Eats from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. If anybody would like food from the food truck side.
Awesome, beautiful. Hey, thanks for letting us know. Hey, listen, we're gonna let everybody go. Thank you very much, Ricardo. You've been absolutely amazing. Thanks, y'all. And if you guys want to talk to him, please contact him. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.